Oh, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello, greetings everyone. Welcome to Midway Forum webinar Chevening Talk held by Ruang Bidan Indonesia. I'm Farah and I am excited to be your master of ceremony for this event. Firstly, I would like to say the utmost gratitude towards God for letting us together in today's event with good and stable state of. And I would like to expressing my heartfelt thanks to all of your taking time to join us today. Your participation is greatly appreciated and we are so glad that you could be here with us tonight. And we understand that your time is valuable and we are grateful that you have chosen to spend it with us. And we promise to make it worth your while by providing valuable insights and sharing informative knowledge about Chevening scholarship. And so once again, a very warm welcome to all of you guys. And we hope that you find this webinar both engaging and informative. So before we get started, we would like to show you video profile of Ruang Bidan Indonesia. For Ruang Bidan's team, please share screen the videos. Okay, thank you, teams. And also, I would like to go over some important rules for today's webinar. For the first one, please ensure that you have a stable internet connection and are in a quiet environment to minimize background noise. And you can use chat Zoom feature to ask any question you may have during the webinar. Our speaker will answer as many as possible. Or you can raise hand and open your mic in Q&A session. And please keep all questions and comments respectful and relevant to the topic at hand. Any inappropriate behavior will not be tolerated. And I will read out the rundown of today's event, which is divided into 5 parts. For the first one is opening, presentation session by speaker, Q&A session, documentation, and closing. So before we get started, take a little time to pray. Hopefully, by joining this webinar, we can learn more and be more thoughtful midwives. Let's pray together. Play, begin. Finish. And let me introduce myself again. Hello, all. My name is Farah, and I am delighted to be your master of ceremony for this event. I'm not alone here. We have another one. It- She is midwife Alivina Iza, or midwife Iza, as the moderator for today's session. Let me introduce her by read the curriculum vitae for Ruang Bidan teams. Please share screen the curriculum vitae. Okay, she is Alipina Iza. She graduated from professional program in midwifery, Faculty of Medicine, Erlangga University, and she is a co-researcher of Respectful Maternity Care Midwifery Program Study, Erlangga University, and she also a research officer of Jakrat, Jatim, Adelaide, Kaltim Research and Development, and she also active in volunteer and community service experience. One of her experiences is coordinator of collaboration in Advanced Research Center, and she is a founder and chief technology officer of Ruang Bidan Indonesia. And welcome, this is our moderator today, Midwife Iza. Hello, Midwife Iza, are you here?
Yes, hello midwife Farah.
Okay, hello. It's my pleasure to introduce our beloved moderator tonight. How are you, Miss?
I'm a little bit nervous, I think.
Me too. Okay, I hope this event will run happily. And okay, so before we move to midwife Iza, I want to give a kindly reminder for you all that if you have any questions during this presentation, you can put them into the question books or chat Zoom, or you can use raise hand and open your mic for more interactive questions. And we will turn to the time over to midwife Iza. For midwife Iza, time is yours.
Okay, once again, thank you so much, midwife Farah. So, good evening, everyone from Indonesia. Let me introduce again myself. So, my name is Iza. And before we dive into our exciting talks, let me give you a quick overview about what is Chevening Scholarship. So, the Chevening Scholarship is prestigious international scholarship program funded by the UK government, which offer financial support to outstanding students and professionals from around the world. And also, this scholarship pursue postgraduate study in the United Kingdom. If you're still wondering what the Chevening Scholarship it is, so you have to join this event until it's finished. And we hope all participants can learn from our speaker experiences and insights of past scholarships and master degree, especially in academic, career, and networking opportunities. And once again, guys, please note that I will assist you in activating the show caption so that Zoom will transcribe our English speech into the text. Okay, wait a minute. Okay. Okay, caption is on, but unfortunately, this caption is not available in Bahasa. But don't worry, guys. If you have difficulty understanding the material or the message given by the speaker or you want to ask in the Q&A section directly, please let us know on the chat box or just click raise hand tools on Zoom. Jadi saat ini caption sudah aktif ya teman-teman, dan apa yang akan disampaikan akan langsung tertransformasi dalam teks, namun ini hanya akan menampakkan dalam bahasa Inggris. Jadi kalau misalnya teman-teman nanti ingin langsung bertanya atau misalnya ada kesulitan dalam memahami materi, bisa langsung raise hand atau misalnya langsung tulis saja di kolom chat. Okay, now let's start our expert session. While maybe the team can share the CV or our speaker. Okay, today we have beloved midwifery expert who will provide us with valuable insight into the topic, Chevening scholarship. So she is Seyram Kiki Avernorgbo. Sorry if I have a false pronunciation. So she is a dedicated and experienced midwife with a passion for maternal and newborn health care, committed to sharing knowledge and expertise. And she already graduated Master of Sciences Midwifery Study Maternal and Newborn Health in the University of Nottingham. And scroll down, okay. And she already have more than 5 years being midwife in Seventh-day Adventist Hospital in Ghana. And yeah, of course, she had Chevening scholarship. And we can see in the screen, she have several certifications related with health, and she registered as a midwife in Ghana and UK. So yeah, now without further ado, let me invite Kiki to the room. Hello, Kiki, are you here?
Hi, Isa.
Okay, hi Kiki, how are you? Good evening from Indonesia.
Yeah, good morning from Canada.
Okay, so now you are in Canada.
Oh yeah, just for a short vacation. Yeah, I'll
Oh,
be returning to the UK next week, God willing. Yeah.
wow, so cool. We're so happy to have you here. We cannot wait to hear your story about Chevening and maybe about your culture shock, master scholarship, and others. Okay, so I'm handing it to you from now on.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Isa. Yeah, first of all, I just want to say I'm so excited to be part of you guys today. And special thanks goes to Annie and then Honey as well. Thank you for inviting me to come and share my experience with you guys. And I didn't know Annie is the director of the group, and I'm just learning about it. Annie, congrats to you. You're doing a very good job. And then congrats to all the leaders as well. Okay, so I think this part sharing my experience with the Chevening scholarship and then my experience in the UK and then with my master's course, I would want Annie to also share hers as well, if that's okay with her. And is that okay with sharing yours as well?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So yeah, so just a brief, aside my CV, just a brief, should I say biography about me? Yes, I'm from Ghana and a midwife from Ghana, that's it. And I've been practicing for 6 years, and most of my practice was in the rural community in Ghana. And just a brief history about Ghana. Ghana is in Africa, West Africa, and also part of the middle income countries. And I think Indonesia is also part of the middle income countries, right? Okay, so all
Yes.
right. And then when it comes to maternal health and then child health, I think we shouldn't be too far from Indonesia. And then with the current maternal mortality rate, which is in Ghana, if I would have to cross-check, but the last time I checked was I think about about 170 per 100,000 live births. So per the WHO um, maternal mortality rate as sorry, the UN sustainable goals, that's to reduce the maternal mortality rate to at least 70 per 100,000 live births. I think Ghana still has a long way to go. And then so practicing as a midwife in Ghana in the rural community, I feel or I saw a lot of things, and most of them has to do with when you are using the three delay models, that is the delay in seeking health, delay in delay in reaching the health facility, and then delay in receiving care. The three of them in Ghana, the three of them most happen in the rural communities. So, and then one important thing I realized was the lack of information, not lack of information because the information is going out there, but they are limited. The people in the rural communities don't receive the much information they needed to know about their health, how they can go about their health, or what they need to know about their health. So for the maternal mortality rates in the rural community in Ghana is quite low because most of the rural communities don't have the tertiary institution. So they have the primary health care, and then we have to end up referring them to the tertiary health care, which is in the urban areas. So by the time they get there or they get to the urban areas, that is when the maternal mortality rate occurs. So with the rural community, the maternal mortality doesn't really occur over there, but that is where it starts from. And then me working in the rural community, I realized, no, there has to be something that has to be done about it. So I remember when I started my work as a midwife in the rural community, in my facility or where I work, I realized that most women were not attending antenatal care as they are supposed to do. And then one reason was the distance between the healthcare facility and then their homes. And then when the distance and then the road, and then the financial cost as well. So when I went into, I think I'm telling my Chevening story right now, what I wrote in my Chevening essay. So when I went there, I realized that they had high intrauterine death rates. This was because one, they were not attending antenatal care to know what is really happening in their system. So, and then one thing I took upon myself was like, no, I have to do something that's to help them. So what I did was first start the community visit, because that was one thing that was also low in that community. And the reason why that was also low was because we didn't have lots of midwives. So after the time I was working in a facility that was taking care of close to 6,000, they see about 6,000 outpatients in a month. And then let's say for pregnant women, we're seeing close to, seeing close to 1,000 pregnant women. And then with the midwives, we're just 3 midwives. So you can imagine. So what I did first was to start the community visit. Some of these people, they don't even have the means to even get there. Even if they have the means, the roads are even bad. So I rather spoke to my hospital authorities, and then we started a home visit. And then also one other thing that we also realized was the communication between us and them. So we also intended to also use technology, that is the use of mobile phones. So if, let's say, in a community, maybe that pregnant woman or her family, no one has a mobile phone in their community. So we look for someone in the community that has a mobile phone, and then so that we are always in touch with the pregnant woman. So even if she can't come, we schedule home visits or outreach program to reach out to them in that community. And that was one thing that really helped. One other thing was also that they didn't even know how to calculate their gestational ages. So they believe that, oh, if I'm pregnant, I'm supposed to deliver maybe within the 9 months, and labor is supposed to even set on naturally. So if labor is not setting on naturally, they are always waiting for it. Meanwhile, some of them also miscalculate their gestational ages as well. So that's also ended up in high intrauterine death rates as well. And then with the complications as well, like I said, that is a rural community. They don't believe in should I say like interventions. So for instance, someone who is post-date, someone who has a previous history of postpartum hemorrhage, someone who has a previous history of preeclampsia, eclampsia, who still wants to go through a normal birth. Fine. We are not saying that you can't go through a normal birth. You can go through a normal birth, but that should be under strict guidance, or maybe in a tertiary facility, or where a midwife or an obstetrician is there to guide you through the pregnancy. So with the little intervention that I introduced them when I first started with my work in the facility, that's helped reduce some of these complications, and then prevented some complications in the women as well. So from 2016, when I started working there, till 2022, when I left to school in the UK, I realized that the maternal complications, and then the maternal mortalities, and then neonatal mortalities were at a reduced rate as of 2022, and as at now, because let's say I'm going back to that facility to work, and I'm still in touch with them, and I know the figures as well. And then my reason why I decided to further my education was in Ghana, our educational system, when of midwives, we have the training schools, and then so that is for diploma. Then we have the degree as well. So you can start with the diploma, that is, you undergo training, or you can just go do a straight degree. But I did a diploma before I did my degree. So after my degree, I realized, no, there are still certain things that I need to do, or there are still certain things that I need to know. And that is when I thought of the postgraduate studies, that's the master's studies, because I really want to go or do, let's say, research, because some of the things, the complications that we see in the facilities, a little research or a little further knowledge about it will help reduce those complications. That's the reason why I started, I had a plan to further my education to do my master's. And then as at the time I was applying for a master's, the master's in midwifery just started. And then people asked, why didn't you just do it in Ghana? Didn't you go to any other country? Why the UK? I had all my education in Ghana, and I have been practicing in Ghana. So there's a time for me to bring other perspectives as well. There's to another country. And that is why UK has this sort of cultural diversity. There's cultural diversity. They have lots of international students. So going to the UK is going to give me the opportunity to know what other people because there are lots of international students. So I'm going to learn from them and see what is happening in their country as well. And then the UK also is one of the countries that, with their maternal mortality rates or with their maternal health, it's not, I wouldn't say it's top notch, but as compared to Ghana or some other developing countries, I think they are doing very well. So the opportunity for me to learn from them as well. And so now the decision to go study in the UK has come. How do I fund my studies? I realized that education in UK is no joke. You can't afford it. And so that is when I thought of looking for scholarships or funding as well. Then lo and behold, I chanced on Chevening Scholarship. And I realized that Chevening Scholarship is, with their aim, it also aligns with what I want to do in future. And I am a leader. Chevening is leaders. So why don't you go for it? That's when I started my journey to apply for Chevening scholarship. And then by God's grace, I did. And they have sponsored my education. And I think that is one of the best things that has happened to me. Coming to the UK was one of the best things that has happened to me. And I've met a lot of interesting people like Annie. And then because Chevening is all about building networks. It's all about building network. And I don't think, if not for Chevening, I wouldn't even be on this platform today sharing my story about Chevening or be talking with you guys. So I might say Chevening scholarship is great, as it is a prestigious scholarship that everyone would want to go for. And then it's not just about you studying in the UK or having a master's program. It's about the relationship building. After our masters, we are done with our masters, but I trust you me, we are still in touch with each other. Like I'm still in touch with Annie, and I know in the future, Annie and I are going to do things like something good. But what I found interesting or that saddened my heart was I remember when we all selected, we all joined a platform, and everyone was looking for their industry. So the financial, and then it was time for midwifery. And then we were looking out for midwives, and then we were just two. I was like, no, this can't be. Because other groups, you see lots of people in those groups. The midwifery group were just two. And I was like, no, what is happening? And then when I also started my master's program in our class, we were just, for the full-time students, we were just 11 students, but you go to other classes, there were loads of them. Then I asked myself, what is happening? Is it that midwives, we don't want to upgrade? Is it that we are comfortable wherever we are? Or is it that nothing interests us? I was like, no, I can, Annie, hello, Annie. Annie, can you hear me?
Hi, yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. All right. So in your class, how many were you guys in class?
I think it almost 20 because we are like have a student combined face to face and distance learning. So most of them like busy midwives in the UK and around the world, and then some of them like come to the campus, and then some of them like joining the class from their device. Yeah.
Yeah, but that is still not enough. So like I asked myself, why is that midwives don't want to upgrade? Why is that midwives don't want to go to school? And I saw that in Ghana as well. It's like midwives after our first degree, like we are comfortable. There are lots of opportunities out there for us. You go to some job applications that's they say maybe technical, something for maternal and childhood, then you see someone who has a different background, maybe health policy, or maybe a nurse or a public health specialist apply or getting that job, while that job is supposed to be for midwives. So, and then the reason being that the midwife hasn't gotten that qualification to apply for that job role. So I don't know. I don't know what is happening in Indonesia. I don't know. But for Ghana, I know when it comes to midwifery, midwives don't want to upgrade. I don't know. Is there any special?
Um, Yeah, I think in the current times, the Indonesian Midwife Association have changed their regulation. So there is a mandatory, I mean, like requirement for, especially for a private midwife clinic. If they want to open their own clinic, they have to have a higher degree, at least bachelor and professional midwifery program. So if they cannot complete or meet the requirement, they can open their own practice. So I think it is like massive changes in midwifery education in our country as well, Kiki. But the most challenging midwifery education here is we have no specific doctoral program in midwifery. So the highest degree in midwifery is master program. And so that's why I choose the UK, because most of them like midwifery education in Indonesia in the master degree level, they have more like, I mean, like medical stuff for the teaching and then for the system as well. But when I compare with the UK system, I can know how the midwifery, and then yeah, it's like completely different, because like medical approach and midwifery approach is quite, you know what I mean is, I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe in your country it's like face same situation, because we have like high maternal and newborn mortality rates, and then people have a tendency to give like more pathologic or like emergency maternal newborn training, rather than like how we can promote normality, how we can support physiological of the women. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So I think by the end of the session, we would um I don't know, we'll get answers to our questions, and then midwives, we are advocates, and then we empower each other. So at the end, I'm sure someone will be empowered today to go for further studies. And yes, because there are lots of issues out there in maternal health that needs to be addressed. There are lots when it comes to mental health, when it comes to, I don't know, there are lots of them. And so at the end of the session, I think we'll get our answers, and someone from this session today who still has doubts, if she wants, I hope all of us here are women, right? And we have some males joining us. At the end of the session, we'll have a change of mind and then go out there to empower our midwives or our junior midwife or our students, because I know there are lecturers among us today. Empower them to go for further studies, do a lot of research, because there are lots of career opportunities out for us midwives. It's not just be in the clinical field, or it's not just be in the ward. We need to go out and then help
Yeah,
solve
yeah, yeah,
the maternal issues that are out there in our countries. Because 2030 is just near, and looking at our figures right now, if we midwives don't get up, or if we midwives don't do much, I don't think we are even going to get even
yeah.
quarter or half of what the UN sustainable goals demands that we meet. So I'm just going to, so today is about Chevening Talk, though, but I think my midwifery I'm so passionate about
That's
midwifery
okay.
right now.
Yeah,
So I'm
we
talking
have
a lot
same
about midwifery.
situation. We have challenge in our country. Yeah, I think Ghana in Indonesia is like quite same background in maternal and
Oh, okay.
newborn health status as well. Hmm.
Okay, all right. All right. So so I'm going to share my screen now. I'm going to share about the Chevening Scholarship, and then how the application process is all about. All right, just a minute.
No. Hmm.
This. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So slideshow. Right, perfect. All right, so all right, so today I'm going to talk about further education from, I think I've spoken much about that. And then an overview of the Chevening Scholarship, the 4 Chevening essays, the interview, and then we have our questions and answers. All right, so further education for midwives. Why midwives need to upgrade? I think I have answered that already. Then the career opportunities for midwives. So there are lots of career opportunities. So with if you decide to further your education, you could be a consultant midwife who specializes in maybe neonatal health, maybe public health or sexual health as well. And then you could also be a lecturer and then a researcher as well. And then you could also be a midwife practitioner. Yeah. And then there are lots of managerial roles that you could also get. So maybe a matron or maybe administrator, or yeah, there are lots of career opportunities out there for you. Then why studying in the UK? I think I spoke briefly about that, but I'll speak about that when I'm talking about the Chevening essays. All right, so an overview of the Chevening Scholarship, and then I think Farah did a summary of it. So Chevening Scholarship is being a scholarship that is for international students who want to study a one-year master's in any university in the UK. So the focus is a one-year master's program. And then this scholarship is a prestigious scholarship because at the end of the day, you are not just a leader. Chevening is going to train you more to improve upon that your leadership skills, and then you are going to join a global network of professionals as well. After your education, you're not just left there. With the networks that you go to build in the youth, that is going to be your new family or your new networks that if you have career ambitions or if you have anything you want to do in the future, this network is the one that is going to help you as well. And then, yes, so we move on to the eligibility criteria. So the first one is to be a citizen of a Chevening eligible country or territory. So, and then all these are listed on the Chevening website. So I advise everyone who is interested in Chevening scholarship, the first place to get your information is the Chevening website. So go there and then see if your country is eligible. Yes, of course, Indonesia is eligible. That is why Annie was was chosen as a scholar, and then Ghana is also part as well. So, and I know majority of the participants on this webinar today are Indonesian. So Indonesians, you are more than qualified to apply for this scholarship. And then midwives, you are more than qualified because to achieve the UN Sustainable Goal 3, that is promoting health, and then I think a chunk of it has to do with reducing maternal and neonatal mortality. If we midwives are able to reduce that goal or meet that goal, I think the goal 3 in general will also be met. So we need more midwives who will come on a Chevening scholarship to go out there and then help solve the problems that we have in our countries and in our communities. Then the next thing about this scholarship is you have to return to your country of citizenship for a minimum of 2 years after your award has ended. Yes, you are not going to stay in the UK after your scholarship period is over. In your application, the reason why you are chosen is to come for Chevening or to be trained to go back to your country to solve your problem. It's not for you to migrate to the UK. So if you have the intention of migrating to the UK, this scholarship or to use the scholarship to migrate to the UK, this is not a scholarship for you. You are a midwife and you said you want to solve problems. They don't need you to come and solve the problems in the UK. They want you to go back to your home country to solve your problems. So So bear in mind, you need to go back to your country. We will all be going back to our home countries once we are done. We are currently done with our master's program, but what we're doing right now is to have a feel of their system so that when we go back, we will also try to, aside the academic knowledge that we had, we'll also try to add the clinical or what their health system looks like. Then when we go back, we'll also try to implement that change that we have over here. So, and then the other one is you have completed all components of undergraduate degree that will enable you to gain entry onto the postgraduate program. So you should have at least a second degree upper, the second class upper in your undergraduate program. You could already have a master's. Yes, you can still apply to this. So if you want a second master's, you can still apply to this scholarship as well. Then you should have at least 2 years, which is equivalent of 2,800 hours of work experience. This work experience can be part-time or it can be a voluntary work. So when you put all of them together, it should be equivalent to 2,800 hours of work experience. Then apply to 3 different eligible UK university courses and have received an unconditional offer from one. So with this particular eligibility criteria, you don't need to have the offers yet. And then you can apply now, then later you can apply to the scholarship now, then later you apply to the school. Yeah, before I continue, the scholarship application is opened now, and then I think the deadline is on the 7th of November. So we have limited time now. So for now, if you don't even have an offer from any of the schools, you could still go ahead to apply for the scholarship. Then later, you can then apply to your schools, your courses, and then the university as well. So now, the scholarship application. So once you start your application, you're going to create a portal, and that portal you're going to fill in some information. The most should I say, the most important part of this application is the Chevening essays. The others, you're just going to fill in your personal details, your maybe your schools that you have attended, your degrees and stuff, which are very easy, and you could even do that in just under 30 minutes. The most important part of the application is the Chevening essays. And then once you get these Chevening essays right, and then you get the other part that you filled well, you are at high chance of getting the scholarship. So for the purpose of this webinar, we are going to talk more about the Chevening essays. So the Chevening essays are 4. So the first one is leadership and influence. Second is networking and relationship building. Third is why study in the UK. And then we have our career plan. Mind you, these 4 essays, each of them is 500 words maximum. You have just 500 words to write. So you would want to use those words where that word counts very well. So the first one, which is the leadership and influence. And then the question you have to answer over there is, it says Chevening is looking for individuals who will be future leaders or influencers in their home countries. Explain how you meet this requirement using clear examples of your own leadership and influencing skills to support your answer. So with this essay, so with any academic essay or any essay you write, you first have to start with an introduction. And then that is to make the reader or your assessor know what you are going to talk about. So you can't just start an essay you're going to talk about leadership, then you start listing out your examples or no. So you need to give a brief introduction, and that introduction needs to be brief. When I say brief, 1, 2, 3 lines is enough because you have just 500 word limit. So this introduction should be a compelling one. I will suggest you avoid using maybe quotes from people. They said, according to so and so, leadership means this and that. What does leadership mean to you? So in your own words. So you that are telling your story, because in this leadership essay, you are going to tell your story, your past experience, what you have done in the past, or that shows that you're a leader or you're a future leader. So looking at all that you have done in the past, how do you explain what leadership is with the experiences that you have? Because if you decide to go and use someone else's definition of leadership, which doesn't translate to what you are writing, the examples you are giving, I think it will be a failure. So define what that shouldn't be so difficult. Define what leadership means to you in just 2 or 3 sentences or lines, then you're good to go. Then with this particular essay, we are using a STAR approach. Someone asked, what's the STAR approach? So the S stands for situation, the T for task, A for action, and then R for results. And then someone will also add another R, which is reflection. So we're using the STAR approach. You are going to tell how you're able to use your leadership skills in the past. So for instance, so what is the situation then? So you are going to tell what was the problem. So I gave an example earlier on. I said when I started my work as a midwife, I realized there were high intrauterine death rates in the facility, in the hospital that I was working. And then, so what was the task? The task was that I decided to do, to initiate what? Home visits or being in touch with the pregnant women. And what was the action? The action was like, I really went to the community, got mobile phones of people that I could be in touch with, the pregnant women, taught them how to calculate their gestational age and their expected dates of delivery. Then what was the result? At the end of it, the result was that at the end, so let's say at the beginning, the intrauterine date was at 80%, maybe at the end, it has reduced to 50% or 40%. So that is the STAR approach. And then when you add in your reflection, what have you learned from that problem or that action that you have taken? So looking back at this, maybe this, I could have done this better, or I could have done this to help achieve my goal. So using the STAR approach, and one thing you also know, you should also take into consideration is that you need to put numbers, you need to put dates, you need to put figures. You don't need to say you have resolved that problem maybe drastically or something, because you need to be realistic as well. Maybe you are working within a 1 year period, or that particular project you're doing was just for 6 months, and then maybe the problem was, maybe I was at 100% or 80%, or maybe then figures were like 1,000, and then you tell us in 6 months you're able to reduce it to 0. That's not realistic. So you need to put numbers, you need to put time, you need to put dates. If possible, you need to be specific, mention names as well. And then when you mention names, you just be very careful, you have mentioned the right name or the right place as well. And then with this particular essay, it's like you have an introduction. So usually you could give a minimum of 2 examples, and then you can make it 3 or 4, depending. I gave 2 examples and I was able to tell a good story out of it. So with your leadership essay, you are using a STAR approach. You are listing out how or the problems that you have solved. And then one thing you also remember is that this is about you. It is not about the team that was involved. So if you are writing this essay, personalize this. Use I did this, I led the team. Or even if, let's say, you were not the lead person in the lead person in the team or in that particular project, maybe you could talk about what your role was. So maybe I partnered with so and so to solve this so and so problem. So it's about you. It's not about the team. So avoid using the term we. So you're going to use the term I in all your essays. Yeah. Then end the essay with a powerful conclusion. So you told your story, maybe in this particular year, you identified this problem, and then you set out to solve it, and you eventually solve it, and then it's reduced to so and so number or whatever it is. So you're ending with a powerful conclusion. So Chevening is looking for leaders or potential leaders. So you could say, yes, you're a leader. So if given this scholarship or if given this opportunity, you are going to improve upon your leadership skills, or you are going to help do so and so and so. That is a powerful conclusion. So you should always end your essay with a powerful conclusion. And then you could also link your conclusion to your networking essay. It's not always compulsory, but if you could, because I feel with your networking essays, with your leadership essays, you didn't do those projects alone. You work with some other people. So those people that you work with might come in your networking essay. So if they are coming into your networking essay, you should always make sure that you are linking your conclusion to your networking essays. I hope that helps. We'll now move on to the networking and relationship building. The question over there is explain how you build and maintain relationships, emotional capacity, using clear examples of how you currently do this, and outline how you hope to use these skills in the future. So this is networking building. A good leader always builds networks. You can't work alone. You always work with people. So you are going to show Chevening or the assessors or the readers that you are good at networking. You are good at building relationships, or you have built relationships in the past to solve a particular problem or to impact society. So this also, you are going to use the STAR approach as well. So you are going to state the situation, the task, the action, the results, and if you still have some space for words as well, you can add your reflection. You are not going to just talk about groups you belong to. You are not going to say you belong to Ruam, I don't know if Bidan Indonesia group or midwifery group. Oh, yes, you belong to this group. So what did you do, or how were you able to network or use the network in this group to solve a particular problem? That is what you are going to talk about. I'm not going to say, oh, I belong to the midwifery group in Indonesia. I belong to the social group in my community, or I belong to. No. So with this particular essay, it's not too far from your leadership essay. So you're going to talk about, so let me give you a very clear or typical example. I got to know Annie through Chevening scholarship. And I got to know Honey through Annie. So today's particular webinar is to educate midwives, or to share information about Chevening scholarship. So let me just use so Honey. So let's say Honey identified a problem that midwives in Indonesia don't want to upgrade, they don't want to further education, or they want to further their education, but they don't know how to go about it, or they don't know how to get funding. So that was her problem. That's the problem she identified. So she now got in touch with Annie. He said, Annie, this is the problem I feel, or that I've identified in Indonesia. And I am thinking of a way to help the midwives or those who want to study in the UK. How best can I help, or Or then Honey will give out, okay, I'm thinking of organizing a webinar or something. Are you available, or do you know someone who can help us with it? Then Annie said, oh, okay, yeah, I know another Chevening scholar who is also a midwife. She's Kiki. Let me get in touch with her and see if she's available. Are you seeing the connection? So Honey contacted Annie, and then was having this webinar. So she first identified the problem, she had the task, then the action, and then so when so this particular webinar, let's say about 49, we had about 49 participants joining. Then and at the end of the webinar, about 40 or maybe 10 participants applied for the scholarship. And out of the 10 participants that applied for the scholarship, maybe 4 or 5 of them had it. That was the result. So this is a very clear example of how you can approach your networking example. So this particular one, you should give a minimum. Don't give just one, give two minimum examples, and then you are telling a story. You are not just listening, no, you are telling a story. So all your paragraphs are connecting. So with this, you also have your introduction, what networking means to you. Then your next paragraph, you talk about maybe your first example. And when you're moving to your next paragraph, you are linking it like you have a linkage word that is linking your next paragraph so that the reader doesn't see the next paragraph as a whole new thing. No, it's just a continuous, or you are building up. Then your third paragraph, and then your conclusion as well. Then with this one, to be specific about names of people you met. So go straight, be specific. Don't say, and I met one. No, mention her name. You met Kiki, or you met Annie, or you met Honey. Yes, so be specific about names and then the places as well. And this one, we are also giving them time range, the date, or the number of people that were involved. So be specific, don't be generic. So that's for networking essays. So we now move to why study in the UK. So the question here is, outline why you have selected your chosen 3 university courses and explain how this relates to your previous academic or professional experience and your plans for the future. Please do not duplicate the information you have entered on the work experience and education section of this form. So here you are going to talk about why you want to study in the UK. Why not the US? Why not Canada? Why not Indonesia? Why not Ghana? But you have chosen to study in the UK. So this one also, you need to have distinct paragraph discussing the university and then courses of program and all modules in order of preference. In this particular essay, so Chevening expects you to apply to 3 schools with 3, you can have the 3 same courses for the 3 schools if they have it, or 3 different courses. Or you can have is it 1 school or 3 different courses? I think for that one, I'm not too sure of it. But then at the end of it, you should have at least 3 schools or 3 courses. And then you should be able to explain to the assessor or the reader why you are choosing the schools or why you have chosen those particular programs or model. So with this particular one, some people start with an introduction, that is what they aim to achieve. Or you can just go straight, because if you have a lot that you need to write about your 3 schools and your 3 chosen courses, you could just go straight and talk about your first school and then the course. So with this particular essay, you are going to do a lot of research. Don't go to the school website and just copy and paste information from there, because that is what almost everyone is going to do. But what makes you outstanding? You have to go the extra mile. Don't just talk about the ranking of the school. You might want to search for the ranking of the school. Everyone, yeah, yes, maybe University of Nottingham is when ranked is the 10th in what and what and what. No, I think everyone is going to write it. So go further. So this particular university, what is it known for? Or what so yes, if it's the first or the second in the UK in so and so hot, what particular program or what particular part of their ranking or their ranking, what did they used to achieve when it comes to maybe your field or your chosen course. So you need to go further. Just don't just rely on the information on the university website. And then your chosen program. Why have you chosen the program? And then what do you aim to achieve? So the master's in maternal and newborn health at the University of Nottingham. So this program, you need to talk what the program entails. Remember, you're not copying and pasting. You can read what is on the university website, but paraphrase and then personalize it. So at the end of the program, that is what I'm going to achieve. This is what the program is going to help me. Then you have to select some of the models, talk about the models. So this particular model, maybe perinatal mental health that is one of the models in the maternal and newborn health course at the University of Nottingham. So maybe your career, one of your career ambition is to help with maternal mental health. So this particular perinatal mental health is going to help you achieve your career. So you need to link it to it. So you talk about the course, you talk about university, you talk about the program, then the models, you talk about two or three of them, then what you aim to achieve or the skills you aim to achieve from those models. Then you also want to talk about maybe some of the professors and what they have achieved, or some of the facilities the universities have, which is going to be of help to you. Don't just go and mention you are a midwife, you are going to talk about biodiscovery. No, if the biodiscovery lab or whatever it is not going to help you in your course, I don't think it's necessary for you to mention it. You should talk about facilities that is going to help you in your course. And then also, you're not just there for a master's program. Yes, you need to talk about extracurricular activities as well. So maybe the university also have some fun programs or extracurricular activities that might interest you. You can also talk about it. And then you talk about the city as well. What is Nottingham known for? What is the UK known for? Or what is maybe London known for? You can talk about the historical places that the UK have. If you are someone who is passionate or who has interest in history or things, historical stuff, go talk about it. Then what are the English also known for? You could also talk about the football team. That is, if you're a football fan or places you want to visit. So you talk about it. So each university, you have to know how you're going to arrange them. So, but at the end of the day, in all the three schools, you are going to talk about the university, the program, and then the model and what you aim to achieve of them. Then the extracurricular activities or things, you can decide to share them among all the three chosen universities. And then, yes, give a clear and coherent reasons for your school or program choice and to academic and professional journey. So you are going to connect it. So you are not going to study a program. For instance, I'm studying maternal newborn health. Then my career or professional journey is about finance. That doesn't make sense. So you are going to connect it with your academic and professional journey, and then you should be fine. So you now move to the career plan. I call this the ultimate or the ultimate essay. So your career plan. The question here is, Chevening is looking for individuals who have a clear post-study career plan. Please outline your immediate plans upon returning home and your longer-term career goals. You may wish to consider how this relates to what the UK government is doing in your country. So, with your career goals, you are going to organize them into three sections. We have your immediate, that's your short-term goal, your medium-term goal, and your long-term goal. And then for me, with this particular career plan, I would advise you use a SMART approach. people also say they use a STAR approach and it worked out for them, but I use a SMART approach and it's worked because this is a goal. A goal needs to be smart. You need to be specific. The goal needs to be measurable, attainable, realistic, and then time-bound. So you're organizing this in 3 sections. Your immediate return goal, that is your short-term goal. I usually say this short-term goal is between when your first 2 or 3 years that you return home. And if you could remember, in the eligibility criteria, you need to return home for at least 2 years. So that 2 years, I think that is when Chevening is going to, I will be monitoring you. So with this short-term goal, I always say that this, even if your medium-term and your long-term goal are not so compelling enough, your short-term goal should be so much compelling. You should be ambitious, but yeah, talking about your short-term goal. Your short-term goal, using a SMART approach, you remember you are just returning back from the UK. You might still have your job, or maybe you are no longer having a job. So you should be very careful with this goal. So with this, you could just say you are returning back to your home country, and then maybe within this particular year, so maybe the first year, so from 2024 to 2025, you want to be organizing maybe outreach program, and then maybe you want to start from locally. Because you can't just come back from the UK and then you want to start organizing outreach program for maybe the whole country, or it's not feasible. So state a goal that is very smart and put time. You don't need to do big things. You can start small. Start with small numbers. You want to train midwives. Start from the maternity ward, or maybe the postnatal ward. You're going to start training the midwives in your ward, then you expand it to the whole facility, then maybe the region, then the city, and then you extend it to the country. So this particular goal, you need to be very careful about it. You can't, with the short-term goal, you can't say, when I return home, I want to apply for the position of president of Indonesia. It's not feasible. Unless, of course, maybe you were in the process of becoming a president before you went in for your master's program. So you should be very careful. You should be very ambitious, but limit your the ambition. And then, so we now move to the medium-term goals. That is between 3 to 5 people say, or 6 years. So you can now step up your short-term goal. So maybe the first 3 years or first 2 years that you came, you started from 100 midwives. So your medium-term goals, you are now expanding it to maybe 1,000 or 2,000, or you are expanding it maybe beyond your city or the community that you work in. So this one also, with your medium term, you're also using a SMART approach. And then with the long-term goals too, that is or in the medium term, you could state you're applying for presidency role or director role or something. And that's your long-term goal. I'll advise that with your goals, especially your short-term goals, you are not going to talk about, oh, okay, when I return, I want to go and then further my education, do a PhD. The moment the assessor says that, no, the master program is not, it's a stepping stone for your PhD, but it shouldn't be your short-term goal. If you want to advance a PhD, that can come in your immediate medium-term goal or the long-term goal. I advise the long-term goal. That is if you have plans of doing a PhD. Yes. And then whatever goal you are talking about, or you your career plan. You are connecting it with what the UK government is doing in your country. And then also you can connect it with the UN sustainable goals as well. So with this particular one, you're going to do a lot of research as well. So what is the current state of maternal health in Indonesia? And what is the UK government doing? And what is the UN sustainable goals also saying? So you need to connect it with them. If you can't find anything that the UK government is doing in your country, always connect it with the UN sustainable goals or what WHO is also doing about it in your country. So always connect your career plans with any of these ones as well. Like I said, your ultimate goal should be very ambitious, but you should be careful about it. Yes, you can be the president, but know where to put that presidency role, not your short-term goal. Or even if you put in a short-term goal, that is maybe you were almost or nearly there at the presidency role before you left for your master's. So with that one, when you come back, you can still go for your presidency role. But if you see that that presidency role was far away from you before you left to do your master's, I advise you don't add it to it. And then be very careful about the number. Always put time. Your goal should be time bound. Always put numbers and be specific as well. Don't be generic. When I return, I want to train midwives in Indonesia. No, how many midwives? And how often are you going to be doing that? And at the end of the day, how many midwives are you are going to be benefit from it? And how is that going to help them? And also remember that you're connecting the courses or the skills you have attained in your master's program to your career goals as well. So let's say one of the skills is in one of your course model, you talk about the course model is about advocacy. So in your career goals, maybe you want to advocate for midwives. So maybe you could say the skills you have obtained from the advocacy model in a so-and-so school, you are going to apply that skills to help and advocate for midwives or advocate for so-and-so women in this community. And then you are also putting numbers to it. All right. So I have general tips for your essays. Remember, each essay is 500 words. So go straight to the point and be specific. You might see 500 words to be a lot, but trust me that it's not enough when you start writing a very good essay. So go straight, be specific. Always use a star or SMART approach, which will help you tell a good story. In this essays, you are telling a story. You are not just listening. Yeah. So you are telling a story. So, and when you use the star approach, it's going to help you tell a very good story, or a SMART approach is going to help you tell a very good story. And then be bold and ambitious. Maybe that particular small problem you solve there, you might think is not necessary or it's not worth it. But who knows? That is what is going to give you that yes for your essay. So be bold and ambitious. And then show, don't tell. That with this particular one, you are showing. Don't tell, okay, I helped 500 midwives or I trained 500 midwives. Okay, you train them to show it. That's number, time reach, and yes. Then arrange events chronologically. So if you are telling a very, you are going to arrange. So you don't talk about something that happened in 2016. No, something that happened in 2016 before you come to talk about something that happened in 2012. No. So that's 2016, you did this, then you move on to 2019, then you move on to 2020. So it's chronologically. And then with this particular one to come up, then also always remember and check for grammatical errors. When writing your essays, like I said, you've created a portal, and then there's a portion for you to write your essays over there. I advise you write your essays in a Word document. You proofread. You can give it to people to proofread for you. Yeah, you should. Not you can. You should give it to people to proofread for you and check for grammatical errors. And also remember that this is United Kingdom English language, UK English language. This is not American English language. So you should check out for their spelling as well. And then one of the apps you can use for grammatical errors, check for grammatical errors, is Grammarly, which is also very good. Then avoid plagiarism. Do not go and copy someone's essay or copy quotes or things from people without referencing them. You should always, if you are copying something, make sure you're paraphrasing, and then don't copy someone's essay. Your story is different from what someone else has gone through. So you are the best person that can tell your story. If you don't know how to start your essay, I'll advise you just list the points out. So maybe in 20 or maybe you solve one particular problem. So you just listed it down. Then now you start adding your numbers, you start adding your dates, you start adding names to it. Before you know it, you've written maybe a paragraph. So you are the best person that can tell your story. You're the best person that can write your essay. Don't give your essay to someone to write for you. Write your own essays. Then always check Chevening website for every information you need. Then aside the Chevening website also, there are lots of people that have done lots of videos and articles on how you can approach your essays. You can go on internet, maybe on YouTube and social media, look for information. But the best place for you to get your information is the Chevening website. So go there and read every information that you need over there. So now, you have written your essays, you have submitted your essays. So with a Chevening timeline, so once application is open and you've applied, the next stage is for you to be invited for an interview. This is supposed to be another webinar on this, but I'm just bringing in just some few tips. So with the interview, once I'm invited for an interview, what you should expect at an interview is that, I don't know if Indonesia still does virtual interview or in-person interview. But Ghana now does an in-person interview. So yeah, you are invited for an interview. The interview is for you to come to tell them, yes, I wrote my essays and this is my story, and then you are going to give further explanation of your essays. So maybe in your 500 words, you couldn't explain enough, or you couldn't say all the things you wanted to say. So this is the time for you to come and then defend your essays. So before your interview, you need to go through your essays. Don't memorize. You're not memorizing your essay, but know what your essay is about, because that is where the questions are going to come from. You are going to be asked on the 4 essays that you have written, and then there'll be extra questions as well. So you need to prepare for it, go through your essays and know what you have written over there. And then the extra information that you had wanted to add, you have them at hand, so that once you are asked, you'll be able to answer them. And then with the interview also, you are using the STAR or SMART approach in answering your questions. So when they ask you, they could ask you a question, what is leadership? Then you define what leadership means. They'll ask you, could you please tell us in instances where you have demonstrated your leadership skills? So with this, you are using your STAR approach. So you start from the situation, the task, the actions, the results, and the reflection. And then with the questions as well, when they ask your instance, unless they are specific, they say, give us 2 examples. Then you go straight and give 2 examples. But if you know you have written 3 or more examples, and they ask you, could you give us instances of where you have demonstrated your leadership skills? You should try to talk about all of them until they tell you, oh, that is enough. Then you can end. Then it's the same with your networking essays, your while studying in the UK, and then your career goals, especially your career goals. I think they are interested in your career goals more. So for that, you should be able to defend it very, very well. Do a lot of research when you're going for your interview. And like I said, do not memorize your essays. All right. I think I'm done now. Yes. I will now have time for questions and answers. That's if there are any. All right.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Kiki. So, yeah, guys, we already have many points, right, about Chevening scholarship and also how to Kiki, how say like doing the master degree and also pursue our future, continue or our education. So now it's your turn. Please raise your hand. Please click raise hand and turn on your camera and your microphone or type your question in the chat and we will address as many as we can during our Q&A session. So who can be the first? Okay, maybe Honey, you have some question?
Yeah, I do have few. If can you listen to my voice? Is that
Yeah,
clear
clear.
enough? Okay. Okay. Thank you, Kiki. Thank you so much because yeah, it was a very fruitful information, guys. Especially because Kiki specifically bombarded us with midwifery viewpoints. So I believe it's very useful, especially if you want to take Chevening this year, hopefully. Yeah, it's interesting when you talk about leadership as one of the crucial sections. And it is also important for us to have our own strong concept of leadership. I used to think that I'm so tiny compared to others. Like I'm feeling unconfident to highlighting because yeah, I have such experience also write down my essay and I really hesitate to put down my point there, my experiences. Yeah, so I'm feeling unconfident to highlight what I've done, what I've been through, my track record, and something kind of feel it's not compelling enough and not so worthy to mention, I think. And I believe people here feel the same hesitation. And as one of the alumni of Chevening, what would you suggest to midwife out there who wants to apply Chevening and feel the same thing? Should we take a step back for a while and planning and creating an outstanding work event in a like wider scope, or do you think yeah, as we plan to make it better on our portfolio, or we can is it possible for people who work regularly who have concern to their surrounding do a very small scope of actions, will it also strong enough and be considered by uh the how's it the scholarship apa sih? The scholarship grantor. Okay. And my second question, hopefully you can memorize it. I'm a bit curious, which part do you think that it's most challenging in the Chevening selection? And do you think, I mean, like, do you need to get the UK midwifery board recognition to join the course? Or do you have any on-hand practice on your course in your experience? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Honey. Do I remember the first question? Okay, the first question is if anyone, like, even if you don't have much experience, or can you still apply? I'll say that once you're a midwife, you're a leader. You don't need to do a lot. So far as you're able to help women make decisions for themselves, that is a leadership role you have shown over there. You don't need to carry on, embark on big projects for you to apply for this, to qualify for this, um, the scholarship. So the smallest thing you have done in the past, it's enough for you. You just need to put the numbers to it. You just need to, like I said, you don't need to achieve big. So even if you're trying to solve a problem, even at the end of the day, you are not even able to achieve your goal. Leaders always fail. So, so let's say you are trying to reduce that particular problem, and at the end of the day, it was 80, and you were able to just solve maybe just 1% of it. You are a leader, yes. You have done something. You're not able to do anything. That also qualifies you a lot. So at the end, you are going to add your reflection to it. So maybe in your reflection, you could say, oh, so looking, if I had involved maybe the nurses, or if I had involved these particular people, maybe I would have been able to achieve more. Then the assessor was like, wow, this is a good leader, and knows that leaders, and then you feel you need to reflect and then where you went wrong, so that in future repeat mistakes again. So you don't need to have a big portfolio. You don't need big projects before you apply for this scholarship. So anyone at all. So be bold. Just be confident in yourself. Like I said, that small story, that small project that you did, or that small thing, or maybe that advice you gave to maybe your matron or your in charge. You talk about it. That's you are going to personalize matron, this is the problem. And then I partnered with her, educating them, the women, or the midwives, the students midwives, or the junior midwives, and so and so. And at the end of the day, we're able to achieve this particular result. So just be confident in yourself. And then the second question. What's the question?
The most challenging part of the Chevening selections, you think, in your perspective?
The challenging part, I would say, so like I said, everyone is talking about, so let's say lots of midwives are applying for Indonesia. What makes you stand out? So you need to write a very compelling essay, a very compelling one. Like you don't need to have, because there are lots of people. I remember when I was preparing for my interview, so we were in group preparing for our interview, and I realized that people had built a huge portfolio, like they've done a lot of things. But at the end of the day, they were not choosing what they have their reasons. But I realized that it's not about you having big portfolio or have obtained lots of things, certificates and stuff like that. It's about how you're able to convince them. So the most difficult part is the interview stage. Once you are selected, like a lot of you will be selected and invited for your interview. So your interview stage, that is when you need to really, 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 really impress them and know what you want. Your career plan should be clear and focused. Don't be generic. Tell them, maybe at the end of 2024 or at the end of 2025, I want to train 5 midwives. I want to train 100 midwives. Be specific. And then how are you going to achieve that? The training, how are you going to get funding? State how you're going to get the funding, maybe from NGOs. And then one thing you should also know, in your career plan, you've come to the UK to build lots of network. So you're going to leverage on these networks to help your career plans or whatever it is. Or there's also let's say, is it a Chevening fund, alumni fund or something? So if you are requesting for funding, you could go into that funding or apply for that funding to help you with your career plan, or maybe when it comes to funding or something like that. So the interview stage is the most compelling or the challenging ones. Get it right, I think you'll be selected. Or Annie, do you want to add anything else? Is Annie there?
I think Ernie
Hello,
have
Mbak Er.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
All right. So I think that's it.
Okay. We move to another question. Maybe Beba Xiami, you want to ask something?
Okay. I'm just sorry I cannot open my video right now. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Thank you, Kiki, for inspiring talk, and thank you for Ruang Bidan Indonesia for providing this such event for me. I want to ask that in living in UK section that you mentioned before that we need to explain why we choose three major. So I mean, like we need that. Do we need to explain it one by one, or in general, or and what if I choose a different field? For example, my first choice is midwife, and my second choice is pharmacology. It is possible. Thank you.
Yes. It's possible to choose 3 different courses, but at the end of the day, you should be able to defend why you are choosing a total. Like, so your first one is midwifery, the second one is pharmacology. Why the pharmacology? So at the end of the day, you're connecting your, so I always say that the leadership and the networking essays, they are together. Then your why study in the UK and then the career essays are also together. So at the end of the day, so that pharmacology course that you are going to, you want to offer, you should be able to explain why you needed it, and then the skills you want to take, you are achieving from it, and then how is it going to help in your career or professional journey. So that is your career plan. So if, let's say you're a midwife, so your midwifery course, you so maybe your career plan, I don't know, pharmacology, I don't know if it's about something about drugs or maybe drug resistance or something like that, that you want to embark maybe a career plan or a project on it later. You should be able to explain to your career plan why that pharmacology program, the skills you are going to get from it, and then what you are going to use for it in your career plan. I hope that helps.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
Thank you.
Okay, Kiki, we have another question from Gracie. Is there have a dissertation section in Nottingham? And please tell me how about your experience do dissertation there, and how about that? Yeah.
Yeah, in Nottingham, yes. I think all the schools, the master's program in the UK, at the end of the day, you are expected to do a dissertation, which is about half of the program, the course, yeah, also. So yes, you do a dissertation. Nottingham, yes. My experience with the dissertation. So consider the fact that it's a 1-year master's program, and then the time is very limited. What the lecturers usually advise is that instead of a primary research, you should rather do a systematic review, because the primary research is going to take a long time. One, with your ethical approval, would even take more than 3 or 4 months. And then you are far away from home as well. So they advised, but I had some classmates who went into primary research, but I realized that they really suffered. So they were advised that is their advice. They will suggest, but at the end of the day, you see, you know what is okay for you. I did a systematic review, and it was okay for me because of the time range as well. Mind you, you're not just doing your dissertation, you have other models, you have other essays you are writing as well. So you have to look at it, which one will work for you. If you're able to plan your time, you have a good time management, even if you decide to do a primary research, you should be able to do it. The systematic review, I think, was pretty good. And even though the time was limited, but one thing about the UK universities also that is also good is that the lecturers are very, very supportive. It could even surprise you. Sometimes you can even email a professor midnight. You get a response instantly. Yes, instantly. If he or she is available, you get a response. They are always there. Academic support is great. When after each class or session, if you don't understand anything, you can book a one-on-one on the with the lecturer or academic support. They are there to help you. And even writing your essays. So for instance, we international students, which English is not our first language, and then academic writing, when we did our degree, they didn't really teach us how to write academically well, especially when it has to do with critical appraisal and analysis. We struggled on our first assignment. They have academic support. You can book one-on-one, you go, they teach you how to write academically, and then you are good to go. So with the academic support, they are really there to help you. And so that's what also helped with the dissertation as well. You get your supervisor. So at the end, you get a supervisor. Supervisor is always there booking a meeting. You can always book a meeting with them. They're always there to go through what you have written so far. So the support is always there. But unfortunately, this year, the Masters in Midwifery program in University of Nottingham is it's not coming on. I don't know for next year if it will be opened. So this year, yeah, the program has been withheld. I don't know for next year, yeah. But there are other good universities like Anglo-Ruskin University where any attended, yeah, they also do very well. We have the YM Masters, Anglo-Ruskin. We have University of Salford as well. They also do very well. Then City University of London, they also have a master's in midwifery or things like that. So if you want master's in midwifery or midwifery related courses, that is 1 year master. Those are the 4 schools that I knew, because when I was searching, those were the 4 schools that I had. The others, they were doing part-time, and Chevening is not going to sponsor you for a part-time or a course that is more than 1 year. It's just a 1 year master's program. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Wow, so wonderful, Kiki. So, okay, moving to another question. We have Ruri in here. She have a couple question. First is it Nottingham University was your first choices in the Chevening form? And how did you elaborate your maternal or neonatal issue in your country into your essay, and also which part of essay that you wrote? Yeah.
Okay, yes. University of Nottingham was my first choice. Yes. So like I said, you need to research the schools and then what you want. So it's not just about the course. So after you've chosen your course, you need to go and then look at the models. Are those the models that you wanted? The skills you want, are those models going to help you achieve them? So you need to go into them. So in the UK, we have the program, then we have the models. The models are like, should I say the subjects, or yeah. So you need to look out for them. And then the second question is, how did you write your maternal? So, like I said, you need to be specific. I didn't just talk about the general maternal neonatal mortality issue in my country or in my hospital or in my community. I took a portion of it. So I talked about the problem I identified was the intrauterine death rate was so high. So that is that part of the maternal neonatal mortality rate, that is what I identified. So that is your story. That is the problem you have identified. You need to talk about the problem you identified. You don't know, you need to talk about maternal mortality in general or neonatal mortality in general. What part of neonatal, is it neonatal sepsis? Is it preterm? Is it asphyxia or something? So just take a portion of it and not just talking about it. That is what you actually did. Then you that's what you talk about. So with that, one thing I also say is that because one thing you should also be mindful, you should be passionate about what you are saying or what you are doing. Because I was so passionate about maternal health, it runs through all my essays. So whatever I am saying, you see maternal health in my leadership role, my networking, my school, that's obvious, and then my career plan. You see maternal health. So you are linking all of them like so when someone picks your essay, okay, this lady has written a lot of things. So at the end of the day, what is she even talking about? Okay, she's talking about maternal health. Okay, she's talking about neonatal health. Okay, she's talking about intrauterine death rate. So let me give you an example. With my intrauterine death rate, that I talk about in my leadership. Then in the networking essays, yes, when I was organizing the outreaches and stuff, I contacted people to do it. Then in my career essays, in my medium-term goals, one thing that I said I want to help with the intrauterine death rate was that help develop an app that is going to track the gestational ages, their appointments and stuff. So because if the pregnant women know their appointments, they get reminders, they only miss their appointments. And then if they don't miss their appointments, yes, baby will be tracked well, and then that will prevent intrauterine death rate at the end of the day. So you see, so you could see that it's the intrauterine death rates or running through all my essays. So there should be one thing that should run through all your essays so that when the assessor sees you say, oh, this person, this is what he or she is talking about. And then with your leader as well, if you are someone who has been out of school for a very long time, I wouldn't advise you use your school leadership roles. You rather focus on what you have done. Imagine you finish your degree about 10 years ago, but you did some leadership roles over there. I would prefer you talking about what you have done the past few years than talking about what you have done long time ago. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, maybe from Rory, you have additional question, maybe?
No, thank you.
Okay. Maybe the last question because we have limited times. Really sorry, Kiki.
It's all right.
Okay. If from you guys, from Kiki, so in your case, you start from courses or university when you how to say like grading your choices in SI.
Okay, so first I mentioned the school. You can mention it depends. You are telling a story, so you don't want to be so robotic. So yes, so you could say, oh, my first choice is maybe the University of, or maybe my first choice of courses, MSc, or that is the University of Nottingham. And University of Nottingham is what and what when in the ranking system, and then it's known for so and so when it comes to then we talk about the models, we talk about 2 or 3, then maybe the professors and what they have done, their contribution to them. So I talked about so one of the professors who had one of my lecturers, she's an assistant professor, Susan Braid. So I mentioned her name, that she's one person that I admire a lot, and because of her contribution to the maternal and newborn health department, I'll be privileged to be taught by her, and then her research skills is also something that I'm also interested in as well. So this opportunity for me to meet her as well. You see, so that is what I wrote. You should just be like, it's a story you're telling. So wherever you want to talk about it, yeah, that's it.
Okay, so yeah, we end this expert discussion in this one. So maybe Kiki, you have a closing statement or closing quote maybe?
Yes, I think I've said a lot. I wish we could continue and continue. But people say Chevening scholarship is difficult. I will not say it's difficult. I would rather say it's compelling. Anyone at all can get it. You don't need to have a big or achieve a lot to get it. Anyone at all can get it. Just believe in yourself. Tell your story right. And yeah, it should be fine. Believe in yourself. You'll be able to. I had it, anyone at all can have it. And we want to see more. It saddened my heart, like this year, the scholars that were choosing from Ghana. I particularly mentored 3 midwives, but none of them were choosing. So no midwives was choosing from my council this year. And I was so I was about it. They got to the interview stages all right, but they were not choosing. So I want more midwives. I want more midwives to apply for this shift because there are lots of things we need to do, improve our maternal health. So we want more midwives to come on board, and I hope like to see you guys like on the next application that is our current application that is opened. Yeah. And like I said, we have limited time now. Application closes on 7th November. So if you haven't decided yet, you can. Okay, so I applied. I had the scholarship on my second attempt. I know some people have applied, they've not gotten. Don't give up. I had it on my second attempt. People had it on their first attempt. Don't be discouraged. I was a bit discouraged when I was applying the second time, but I don't know where the motivation came. And trust you me, I used less than 1 week to write my essays, and I had this time. I would advise anyone to use 1 week though. So believe yourself. Who knows? Maybe there's a time you get it. People had it on the first attempt. People had it on the second, third, fourth attempt. So don't. Yeah, I wish you all the best, and I'm available to give guidance on the essays if you need help. Just reach out to me on my LinkedIn, and then I'll give guidance. And if probably proofread your essays, that's if you bring it early. All right. Wish you guys all the best. And thank you for having me. Thank you, Annie, Hani. Thank you, Isa. Thank you everyone on this webinar today. I'm very happy and glad that I'm part of you guys today. And then wish you guys all the best.
Okay, thank you so much, Kiki. We had a fantastic discussion today, guys, about chevening, about how to midwife to increase our and so have a many amazing question and insight that we can learn from Kiki. Again, thank you so much, Kiki, to sharing your chevening journey and master degree journey. And we hope we as a participant live here today with new spirit for being a champion midwife to escalate our profession. Again, thank you all for participant, and I will return it again to midwife Farah.
Okay, thank you, Midwife Kiki and Midwife Iza, for sharing your valuable insight about Chevening Scholarship. We've learned a lot from your presentation and your amazing story. And I'm sure our audience has found it insightful and informative. We hope that this webinar has provided you with useful information and strategies that you can implement in your own work. And before we say goodbye, we would like to take a moment, viewer, for all participants in your coming fortnight.
Okay.
And for teams can help us to take the picture.
Okay, I think now we can take a picture, right, Farah?
Okay.
Yeah, please count, Farah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay. Once again, maybe. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay. Thank you, Midwife Iza. Thank you, Midwife Kiki.
Thanks,
And
everyone.
we would like to thank you for all the participants for your participation and interest in Chevening Talk tonight. And we believe that information presented by Kiki here will be beneficial to all who attend. And we hope that this webinar will inspire you to take action towards your goals. We appreciate you being here. Thanks again for joining us and see you again.
See you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kiki.
Thank you, everyone.
Maybe you can end the meeting, Kiki, because you are host now.
Okay.
Sorry.